hopefully this is gonna work out okay. Welcome. We're gonna do a little lunchtime vinyasa. This is just a 30-minute class, just a little lunch break. And we'll start with a couple moments. You can sit down if you'd rather, you can lie down. Just a couple moments to get present and feel your breath and ignore the distractions of whatever furry work companions you might have at your house. I'm just noticing the way my back feels and kind of how my shoulders might be. So if you've been kind of leaning over your computer, you might have found your shoulders in a different position than you have now. Just kind of noticing how everything's working out, how things are feeling. Notice your breath in relationship to that. Start kind of a little bit of movement. We'll start it with just a kind of forward and backward movement at the heart with the breath. So you might inhale and bring the heart forward, let the pelvis tilt forward, and then as you exhale, bring your heart backward, let the pelvis tilt backward, and you can hold on to the knees or let go if it feels better. Just kind of reach out in front. Just going back and forth with the breath. And then one more time. Now, get up nice and tall, and we're going to add this little kind of back and forth movement. Hello, pretty girl. Where are you? So you will keep a little movement going. You're not saying hello to your furry companions who've been sleeping all morning. Go that way. That's it. All right. So then I'm going to take myself just into a twist. So just choose a direction, turn, pause for a moment. You might sit up a little taller, or let the shoulder blades fall a little bit. One of the things I like to do with the twist is I take the shoulder that's in the front and roll that forward a little, and to the shoulder in the back and roll it backward a little, so that I'm sort of twisting. It feels almost like I'm making a figure 8 or an infinity symbol between my shoulder blades, and that feels like a nice way to release a little tension out of my low upper back there. Take one more breath, and then we're gonna unwind that, come on round. Move back and forth. A little washing machine. And then when it feels like your spine is ready, you can kind of turn the other direction. So again, kind of sitting up tall on the sit bones. You might roll the front shoulder a little forward, the back shoulder a little backward. Just kind of see about creating this little figure 8 shape. And I'm not trying to twist more from my waist. It's more just moving the shoulder blades slightly in relationship to the twist. Feels kind of nice. And then with the exhale, we'll come back around. And again, give it a little movement. All right, so we're gonna do these little Sufi rolls. So kind of takes us through some similar territory. We're gonna lean forward, heart forward, send the ribs out to the side, come all the way back, out to the side, forward, out to the side, all the way back, out to the side, forward, out to the side, all the way back, out to the side, forward. Now stop at the front, Go the other way, out to the side, all the way back, like as far back as you can go without losing control with your abdominals and hurting your low back. Out to the side, roll, and letting the pelvis sort of circle around with us. So we're gonna do it one more time, and you get to the front, we're gonna pause, like that. Okay, so we're gonna come up to an all fours position. Do these little movements with the legs. So we're going to start with the right leg. We're just going to tuck the toes and send the right leg back. Kind of press back through the heel. If you've got a slightly stickier mat, you might have a little more resistance. I have to kind of feel myself kind of dig my toes a little bit into the floor. And then you're going to roll forward over the toes nice and soft and back and press the heel back. Forward over the toes nice and soft, reach back, press the heel back. Oh, because it feels good. Forward over the toes, coming back. So we're going to send that leg up. Now, there's a possibility to tilt the hips. See if you can keep your hip more level. A little bit of a claw action with the fingertips on the hand, and then reach the opposite arm out so you've got a nice spinal balance. Oh, stretch between those points. Good, one more breath. And then we're going to bring the elbow and the knee in and round. Oh, and stretch out. And if you need a little extra support, put your hand down, round. Stretch out. Bring it in. Curl it up. Stretch it out. Now you're going to put the hand down, you're going to bring the leg all the way forward, and we're coming to a lunge. And we're going to take a moment. I have a block here just so I have a little extra support. Send the hip forward. If you don't have blocks, don't worry about it. Got a piece of furniture, you can use furniture for extra support. Okay. Just whatever you got around you. You don't have anything, you'll just have to use yourself for support. All right, so we're going to take the hips forward and pause. And then create a little bit of a lift. If you'd like, you can open the arms out so you get a little bit more of a heart lift. You could even take your arms around and lace the fingers together if that feels appropriate. Ooh. And one more breath there. And then we're going to stretch the hamstrings, but go gently. Okay, so we're going to ease the hips back. And when you feel something happen there, pause. I'm going to pull the toes back and point them forward a few times just to get a little more love into my calf muscles. Inhale and then exhale. All right, so we're going to take that all the way back around, and we're going to take a downward facing dog, and that might be like your 100th downward facing dog of the day, or it could be your first. And so if it's the first one, or whether it's the first or the 100, really, you could do it anyway. But if it's the first one for sure, give yourself a moment to move around in it. You might create some little waves with your back. Move your hips back and forth. Get your shoulder blades down your back. Hug the armpits in a little bit. Shake out your head. Walk your heels up and down. Oh. Or just kind of pressing through the feet. Lifting through the hips. Oh, because it feels good, y'all. All right, so we're going to come forward into a plank. We're going to do knees, chest, and shin. So if you have never done that, it's a little strange. We're going to put the chest on the floor and the chin on the floor. And the belly's kind of off the ground for now, and then we're going to swoop the belly to the floor and come into cobra. And pull the shoulders back. And I'm just letting it kind of deflate with my exhale. And then with my inhale, I'm working my glutes and my legs, getting myself up a little higher. One more time. Then we're going to come back to the all fours position. If you want to, you can take a child's pose moment right here. Oh. And then come to all fours. Your choice. Take your leg back. Find that level hip, draw in through the sides of the waist. Take the opposite arm up. And we're reaching into that spinal balance. Stretch. And then we're going to hug it in and reach it out. And again, you can put support down and just do the knee. Reach it out. One more time. Stretch it out. Get a good length. Hand down. Leg comes all the way forward and into the lunge. And again, we might take this lunge kind of moving it forward and back a little, feeling out where the lunge begins. Right. Adjusting for any knee discomfort. And then you find the lunge that feels right on the side. And again, you might offer this little heart opener or hands laced together, or maybe put the arms up, because that's more your jam. One more breath. And then we're going to take ourselves nice and easy now back into the hamstring stretch. Again, you might inhale one way and exhale another, just with the calf muscles, or with a slightly more forward bendy kind ofness. All right, one more breath. And then we're going to transfer ourselves back into downward dog. Now, before I get there, I'm going to tie my hair up, because this is the point where I'm ready for that. So, you can go to downward dog, or you can tie your own hair up, and then take downward dog. We'll all meet up together. Okay. All right. So once we're here, we're going to give ourselves this kind of connection in the upper body. Hug the arms in as long as you can, make your neck, shoulder blades as close to the center of your back as possible. And then we're going to pause like that. Walk the feet out to about as wide apart as your mat is. I'm kind of guessing. And then you're going to walk your hands back one tiny little bit. So this is going to get heavier for a second, and it might get a little more hamstringish, so you might have to bend the knees. Walk your hands back a little tiny bit more. And again, it might get a little intense. Walk your hands a tiny bit more. I still have the weight in my upper body so far. I'm going to probably do 2 more, maybe 1 more, and then I'll have all the weight in my legs. One more time, and I'm in my feet. Now, you might have been in your feet already, so you just, like, when your weight's in your legs, pause there, give everything a little shake. You can rinse out in whatever way seems appropriate. And then keeping the legs wide, but you might turn your toes in. We're going to take a sway over to one side, and I'm going to potentially bend that knee quite a lot so I can get in next to it, and then straighten out just the opposite leg. It's possible you'll be able to get both legs straight. If it's too sharp up here at your butt bone, bend your knee. Come back to the center, do a little halfway, little back flattening. You might do that from your shins, a little higher up. Okay, so then we're going to rinse out again and sway over the other way. And again, you can keep the toes pointing in or a little out. And you can keep this knee quite bent and just straighten out the other leg. Or you can try to go for 2 straight legs. Depends on your hamstrings, yogis. I'm not in charge of those, you are. 2 more breaths. Oh, big inhale. And then bring it back to the middle. And again, we're going to come to that halfway point. And then exhale, fold. Now you're going to bring your feet in. Bring them in, bring them in, bring them in, bring them in, until your big toes are about hanging where your peace sign fingers are. And then put your peace sign fingers around your big toes. Bend your knees, all you need. Pull your elbows out. Try to lengthen through your back. And maybe the pelvis tilts towards the ceiling. And the legs straighten out a little bit. Then we're going to release. Come up to a halfway mark that feels decent. Bend your knees. Come all the way up to standing. Oh, that's a big lever. And then stretch when you get there. Oh, that felt good. Whew. All right. So we're going to shake everything. Give the arms a little shake. Shake out the torso a bit. Give each leg a little shake. Okay. Now we're standing at the back of our mat. So we're going to get to the top of our mat. And to do that, we're going to take a little walking meditation. So walking meditation is just walking, slowed down so you feel all the nuances. So I'm going to step forward with my left foot, so I'm feeling my body shift the weight that way. And sometimes when you slow down something you do all the time without thinking about it, it starts to get a little awkward, which is normal. But see if you can feel like the whole sort of, it's not a very long walking meditation. Can you really focus on the sensation of the body moving the limbs through this thing that we do without thinking. When you feel your toes touch the top edge of your mat, or when you run into a piece of furniture, you're done, right? And then you pause in mountain pose. Now we're going to take a chair pose. And you can have the arms up, you can have the hips back, you can bend in a little deeper, you can keep it a little more shallow. We're going to take the weight into the right leg, we're going to pick the left leg up, bring the knee nice and high. Taking a breath. We're going to step that leg back into a high lunge. We're trying not to break a tooth or drop anything. And so from this high lunge, I'm going to do a couple little movements. I'm going to straighten out my front leg. Press this back heel back, and then bend my front knee again. Straighten it out, press that heel back. Oh, bend my knee. Woo, without falling. I'm going to straighten that out. And then I'm going to bend this knee and bring that foot forward, okay? So then I can get both feet on the ground, and I might have to turn that out slightly to accommodate an ankle, and then I'm coming forward into this forward bend. So just coming back to this little hamstring action. Taking a breath, we're going to turn this into a balancing pose. Now we're going to take this into standing splits, which is quite a lot. So you might wind up just finding your way up. And technically standing splits is just standing upside down, bending over on one leg, right? So standing on one leg, bending over. That's standing splits. Now if you can let go of the floor for a moment and hold the balance, whee, and catch yourself when you fall. That's even more fun. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna step your foot right up here, and we're gonna come back to our chair. There we are. So we're gonna take the weight into the left leg. Pick that right knee up, reach, 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 reach. Good, so we've got a nice kind of steady reach. We're gonna take our leg back, stepping back into the high lunge, hopefully not breaking anything. Nothing important anyway. Okay, so maybe I bring my arms up again. And then we're going to straighten out the front leg, press the heel towards the floor only as much as feels appropriate. Sometimes one ankle is different than the other. Straighten, press down. Ooh. Beautiful. One more time. Straighten that front leg, press down through your back heel. And then we're going to bend this knee, bring the foot in, maybe turn the ankle slightly. Go for two straight legs, like make sure you're balanced. And then you're going to fold over that front leg. Back myself up just a little bit. Just noticing how different things in your life might be creating different sensations for you in your legs, in your hips, in your back, in your ankles. Okay, we're going to take this into our standing splits. So 1, 2, lift your back leg. See how high it's willing to go. See if you can let go of the floor. Whee! See if you can let go of the floor for a moment and steady the balance. I like to refer to this one as diving phoenix because it feels like you're about to fall into an ash or a fire pit. One more big breath. All right, so this time we're going to step back to down dog. So we're going to take that leg way back. We're going to take this guy way back and then find that down dog. Ooh, that feels good. And then you're coming into your plank. You can do a full plank. You can modify the plank. You lower down with control. So really draw that navel in. Lower down halfway or all the way. Come into your cobra or your upward facing dog. Come back to downward dog. Take a nice big breath. Lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, bring that knee in, round your back. Reach it on back there. Oh. Bring it in. One more time, we're going to stretch it back. Hook it over if you can. Give your foot a couple little turns. Send your heel down. And then we're going to step this guy forward. And remember, step the other one forward. We're going to come back to our chair pose. Now, friends, this is where it's going to get more fun. So we're going to shift the weight into the chair, into the right leg. And then we're gonna bring the left leg either across, like that, or up on your thigh. And we're gonna see if we can hold the balance. Whoop, whoop. It's almost like pigeon, but standing up. Take in a breath here. Nice. Now we're going to pick this leg up and step it back into warrior two. Oh. And then come to reverse warrior. Over into a side angle, give it a stretch. Coming back to reverse. Over into side angle, give it a stretch. Okay. Back to reverse, and then we're going to, are you ready? Bring ourselves back to chair. Switch the leg. Come into the opposite balance. Whoop, whoop. Oh. Keeping your eyes steady is very helpful. I have this picture right in front of me, a little horse on a hill. It gives me a good place to stare right into that horse's little eyeball. You might have to find your own dristy points. All right, here we go. So we're gonna pick this guy up and step it back into warrior two. And then do a reverse and over. Oh. Reverse and over. Oh, because those feel good, y'all. One more time, reverse and over. And then we're gonna come all the way down and step back into down dog. Okay. And this is where you could just pause here and reconnect everything. Or you can do a vinyasa here and join us up here. Now if you're back, we're going to take this right leg, bring the knee to the ground with the shin off to the side, okay? And then you're going to ease backwards until it feels like you're as close to the ground as you should be. It's possible, whoops, that you will run into small furry creatures or furniture, or it's also possible that your hip will tell you a story about how it would like to be supported. You might have a pillow or a blanket or a block candy, and you can stick it in underneath that hip. Now, you could lay down all the way onto the floor. I like to turn this more into a back bend, right? So I either position the blocks so that I can just kind of relax, or I can hold myself up to be in the more of a back bendy shape. It's a little deeper stretch right here. So I'm kind of coming back into that lunge flavor when I do something along that line. If you wanted to, you could bend this knee, reach back there, grab that foot. I'm not really in a position where that seems like a good idea right now. So I'm staying right here. We're gonna stay here for about another 45 seconds. Not a terribly long time, but long enough to get some benefit here. About 2 more deep breaths. All right, so I'm leaning into my bent leg hip. Take a really big breath and then exhale and bring that leg all the way around. We're gonna pop this guy up front, and you can do any version of the twist that seems appropriate. Just make sure your hips are on the ground. Sit up tall, twist around, pause. Turn your eyes the opposite way. Keep your eyes turning. So like I'm twisting to my left, so I'm looking to my right. I'm gonna keep looking to my right, keep looking to my right, keep looking to my right as I spin my head around. Once I get here, then move the eyes. I don't know why it helps, but it does. For some reason, turning the eyes the other way, and it's a neurological thing, and I just don't completely know how to, I don't know completely why it works. I know that there's something about the neck muscles, tension in the back of the neck, and the nerves that go from the eye, the nerves that come from the brainstem, for some reason in that same area, there's a relationship there. I don't completely understand why the relationship exists, but it does. Now, it doesn't exist for everyone. So it's possible you won't notice a difference. Oh. as someone who has had really a lifetime's relationship with anxiety and panic attacks, I notice some really interesting relationships between my nervous system and my body. So we're going to take a nice big breath. And then we're going to unwind. So I unwind the neck, and then I slowly unwind every vertebrae in the spine. Ooh. Get to the middle. We're going to pause for a moment. Now, you can roll over your legs and go back into down dog and come into a plank and lower down. Do your up dog or your cobra, and then come back to down dog. Or you can follow me, and we're just going to do down dog, or even an all fours position, really, just so that we get ourselves in position for that opposite side of our little pigeon shape there. So once you're here, we'll take the left leg up. And again, we're going to bring the shin to the ground, okay? Feel out the knee before you go any further, and then start to slide backwards. And you stop when it seems like it's appropriate, or add support to help you stop when it seems appropriate. And then snuggle in. Now my knee likes to be bigger. Your knee might like to be, like your foot might need to stay in tighter against your hip. There's no right way to do this pose. There's a bunch of ways that aren't so great, and you'll know those because they feel terrible. This one is spicy, right? There's a lot of sensation. I feel a lot of sensation in my butt. I feel quite a lot of sensation in my hip flexor on this side and up through the belly. I don't feel anything that feels like pain, or there's no burning sensations, no numbness or tingling. So right now I'm willing to stay. If any of those circumstances present themselves, then I change my pose. And this pose is tricky. And so not all of us have the bone shape or the joint relationships to the bones to make this an easy pose. And you can flip it upside down. So we're going to stay for about another 45 seconds, or maybe you're not. As a group, we're going to do it. I'm feeling like kind of compelled to turn just a little bit more toward my right side. So you just kind of notice, like feel those little kind of, should I twist a little one way or the other? Should I lean away from or lean into a hip? So about 2 more deep breaths. Okay, so we take a big breath, and then we're going to lean, and as the exhale happens, we're bringing that back leg around, and then that leg is going up on top or in front in some fashion. Get your hips on the ground, sit up really tall, lean back a little bit if you have to, twist. Now keep your eyes going that way for a second, don't turn your head yet, turn your back. But with the eyes, so in this case my eyes are looking to the left, and then I'm going to keep my eyes left as I turn my head. It's not easy to do, the eyes want to follow the head. Then let your eyes come around when your head gets to the point where it's not going to go around anymore. It seems to ease some of the tension that exists right here in the neck for me to do it that way. So if I turn my eyes that way and I turn my head, I don't get any discomfort in here. But if my eyes either first go to the right and then I turn my head, or if I do it kind of simultaneously, sometimes I feel like a little bit of tension that comes up into this little ridge. Again, this might not be something you notice or even have ever experienced, nor will you ever experience it. It's just something, if you do notice it, try it out and see what happens. It's an experiment, yogis. Bad yoga science at its best. We're going to take 2 more breaths where we are. And we're going to unwind this whole thing, one vertebrae at a time. And then when you get there, release. Now here's the question you have to ask yourself at this moment. Do I have time for Shavasana? If you do, then you lay down on your back and enjoy a little final relaxation pose, right? You might just do it for a minute or 2. Oh, so you just lay down. You might have to put something underneath your legs. You might have to put something underneath your head. You just let yourself relax. This is a really nice pose, and it's a really important pose actually in helping the nervous system kind of integrate and helping all the muscle relax and the parasympathetic nervous system to get all, kind of calibrated, toning. So you can do this for sure. You can also do seated meditation. So if you have a couple of moments and you want to just sit for a few moments, you can have the palms up and palms down. Or you can go get yourself some lunch because that's what time it is. I appreciate you joining me for a little brief foray into Vinyasa. Have a great rest of your day. Happy lunch break. Namaste.